I finally played it. I finally played the infamous Sonic 06. The game that is deemed to be one of the worst Sonic games of all time, as well as the game that permanently fucked up Sonic the Hedgehog as a franchise. But 18 years later, is the game still that bad? Well, some of you probably heard the basics of my thoughts during my Let's Play a while back, but for those of you who didn't watch it, it's honestly not as bad as I expected. I mean, look, when you deal with the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, as well as Spider-Man 2 for the PS5, you're kinda used to glitches, I'm afraid. But this game, to my surprise, didn't really have that many. At least, not that I've caught. Seriously, I've only caught 2 glitches in the entire game, and even then, one of them was intentional. I don't know if Amazon gave me the only decent copy of Sonic 06 or what, but I feel like people are over-exaggerating the glitches, at least for the PS3 version. The lag was in fact an issue, however. And it's not just a little bit like you experience in Minecraft when you blow up a bunch of TNT or whatever. No, pretty much every action I've done in this game caused it to lag for a couple seconds. But I'll go into that in a minute. Like my Sonic Forces review, this video will be divided into sections, and like that, we are gonna start with... This factor was really one of the only major problems I had with 06, starting with the most infamous, the fucking loading screens. According to Chari5, there are a total of 465 loading screens, assuming you get through everything in the game perfectly, which as you probably know, I didn't. And that might seem whatever, until you realize every loading screen is about 30 seconds long, which might not sound like a lot, but how would you feel if I just... Yeah, you don't like that, do you? Now imagine that 465 times after every single clip. I will show you what a normal scenario of a loading screen occurring looks like in Sonic 06. What? Did they really need a loading screen for only one line of dialogue? But, moving on from that, like I said earlier, there was a ton of lag. I'm talking almost every action I've done, whether it's a homing attack or whatever, boom, lag. And it really got out of hand. But Nathan, why don't they patch it? This game was released in 2006, mind you. Back then there were no patches, they just released the games as they were. Yes, a lot of games were in decent condition, but at the same time we also got games like this and Devil May Cry 2. Even the gameplay itself just feels a bit janky. And of course, here are the glitches. The only accidental one I encountered was this one when I recorded the second part of my Sonic 06 Let's Play. But after a few seconds I managed to jump off the rail and progress like nothing happened. And there's the other one during part 5 of my Let's Play. To be honest, I just wanted to skip the ball puzzle, so I just looked up this glitch on YouTube. Oh, and for the sake of saying it, fuck the ball puzzle. And Griffith. Fuck Griffith too. But other than that, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, look, I can't really speak for the Xbox 360 version, but the PS3 version was actually pretty decent if I say so myself. But now, let us move on to the story. I'll be going over the story in chronological order, by the way. I'll be talking about all 3 stories at the same time, mainly cause you probably don't need me to talk about the same scene twice or thrice in a row. Starting with the beginning of Silver's story. Damn, this cutscene looks spectacular! I hope they keep it up for the rest of the game. Oops! I'm sorry, but motion capture does not look good in this game. I'm glad this is the last time they tried that shit. Anyway, spoiler alert, things do not look so great 200 years in the future. That's what we get for not taking climate change seriously and placing America in the hands of dying old men and cartoon villains. But back to topic. Mephiles shows up out of nowhere, and to be honest, why would Silver automatically trust this shady guy? I mean shit, the guy doesn't even have a mouth. To be honest, it's kinda like the whole thing with Hoy in Wrath of the Dragon. But then again, from what we've seen, he and Blaze are pretty much the only people alive, so I guess he didn't really have many options. Anyway, apparently Sonic is the bad guy, so now they have to go back in time to kill him before he could awaken Iblis. I also like how when they time travel, they just disappear with no special animation whatsoever. So yeah, the three go back in time and for some reason they all get separated. Meanwhile, for whatever reason, Shadow is working with Gun, despite the fact they killed Maria and locked him up for 50 years. But whatever. We have to go save Rouge's ass and destroy 5 searchlights with a buggy. Afterwards, you fight the Egg Cerberus for the first time, which it's decent, not very noteworthy in my book. After that, Shadow and Rouge plan to meet at a rendezvous point in Kingdom Valley, but not before pronouncing Gun as G-U-N. Like, I don't understand. Before 06, they had no problem saying gun, so what changed? Are anthro animals in a rated E game not allowed to say the word gun anymore? I guess Shadow the Hedgehog 05 banned them from the Mickey Mouse Club for inappropriate behavior.
Where's that damn 4th Chaos Emerald?
But after an encounter with Eggman, the Scepter of Darkness falls and Mephiles gets released and uses Shadow's shadow to make a body. And now he looks like a DeviantArt OC. But yeah, Mephiles is pissed and sends them to the apocalyptic future, which explains how Mephiles met Silver. Yeah, to be honest, it's kinda hard to explain things chronologically, but whatever. Anyway, now we finally get the Sonic story, and oh, look at this art style! It's all Final Fantasy-esque. I'm kinda digging this.
A pleasure to meet you at last, Princess of Soliana. Oh my god!
Never mind, I take it back. This is just as bad as the original Sonic design in the movie. Speaking of, Jim Carrey's Eggman looks a hell of a lot better than this. I don't know why I brought that up. I guess maybe I just wanted to show a realistic looking Eggman done right, I suppose. But, whatever. Sonic jumps in and Elise mistakes him for Silver, which... Huh? I mean, look, first of all, Sonic is blue and doesn't have a pot leaf head. But second, and more importantly, she was unconscious when Silver rescued her. So how on earth would she know what Silver looks like? Yes, she's had visions of Iblis, but that's the thing. It's only Iblis. Now, it is not known whether or not Silver is in fact featured in those visions, but I guess we don't have to worry about that since it's irrelevant. Now, I know both of them heard that. Seriously, Elise had plenty of time to run away, or at the very least, alert Sonic before the quote-unquote quiet machine captures her. But whatever. Meanwhile, we get back to Trunks, Silver, who is watching from afar.
Now I've got you, Sonic!
Hey!
Sorry, but last time I checked, Sonic doesn't have boots or a marijuana leaf hairdo. I guess I could maybe understand why Amy would mistake Shadow for Sonic, but Silver? That's a big nope in my book.
Hey! You're not Sonic! I'm sorry.
And she slapped him even though she's the one who is in the wrong. After that mishap, Silver and Amy form an alliance in pursuit of the Mystery Hog, though unknowingly, Amy was leading Sonic to his grave. Then we get to the infamous Ball puzzle. I already expressed my feelings on that. Also, since when was Amy able to turn invisible? Oh, and I can't believe I forgot to bring this up. In Sonic's story, some of his levels have these things called Mach Speed sections, which, as it sounds, you go super fast for a section of the level. But the thing is, these sections are fucking horrible. You can't stop and you can't jump. I guess you could, but you'd fly off the map and die. You have no idea how many game overs I got in these. And before you ask, no, this 2006 PS3 Xbox 360 game does not have autosave. So you have to start the level all over again, and that's assuming you didn't forget to save before giving the level a shot. And before you say something like autosave wasn't available back then, Sonic 3 and Knuckles on the Genesis had an autosave feature. And by the way, that game was released in 1994. And now that I think about it, a year before that, Kirby's Adventure on the NES also had an autosave feature. But whatever. Sonic and Tails save Elise, and luckily she isn't in another castle. Though we gotta fight the Egg Cerberus once again.
How long is this gonna go on?
Oh please, we've only scratched the surface. But yeah, insert Windows XP desktop background meme here, and Sonic walks like a Giga Chad. Seriously, he has the fucking Beast Titan walk going on right now. And then we get to the Silver boss fight. It's really bad. Like seriously, Silver is just so damn broken in this boss, I'm surprised I even managed to beat it. But anyway, Elise pulls the Princess Peach and gets kidnapped once again, and Amy steps in to break up the fight. we finally run into my boy Knuckles, who shows Sonic and Tails that they have to give Eggman the Chaos Emerald in exchange for Elise. Okay, I'm a bargaining man, I'll oblige. You asshole! The trio then gets sent to the future, which is coincidentally the same moment Shadow and Rouge are in, and when Silver and Blaze get sent to the past.
Coincidence? I think not!
We learn the canon event, which involves Elise, and presumably Eggman too, dying in Eggman's battleship thanks to a malfunction which caused Iblis to break free. Meanwhile, Silver finds a Chaos Emerald in Eggman's base, and Amy helps free Elise, after she walks out of her cell by herself. Damn, you'd think with all this tech Eggman has, he'd have a better security system installed. Or at the very least, a locked cell. And here I thought Bowser was an idiot. I mean, at least he takes the time to make sure Peach can't escape on her own. It's not like Elise pulled a snake and faked her death or picked the lock or anything. But Back to the Future? Heh, get it? It's a movie reference. Both parties regroup and it looks like we have to fight Iblis, which it's a decent fight. But it looks like it's 2v1 with the camera going against you as well. After the fight, Sonic and Shadow pull Chaos Emeralds out of their asses. Literally. You can't convince me otherwise. And while Team Sonic and Rouge jumped in, Shadow stayed behind as he decided to pursue Memphis, Tennessee.
Looks like we made it back in one piece.
The One Piece is real!
I had to do that. I had to make a One Piece reference, and I have no regrets whatsoever. Anyway, Amy and Elise unknowingly talk about Sonic, and shortly after, surprise bitch, she gets kidnapped once again. Meanwhile, Rouge meets with Omega, who takes the Chaos Emerald, to deliver to Shadow, who finally catches up to Mephiles. It's revealed that sometime after Iblis was broken free, the humans turned against Shadow in the excuse of fear. Mephiles tried to use this to recruit Shadow, but as you expect, the Edgelord refuses and we have to fight Mephiles, which, to be honest, the fight itself is kinda underwhelming. I mean, it's all full of trying to figure out the origin of the shadows Mephiles is using, only to beat the shit out of him in like 30 seconds. But whatever. Omega joins the fight, and to be honest, the boss doesn't get any better. Mephiles escapes as Shadow and Omega return to the present. Shadow then meets up with Eggman, who promised to exchange information on Solaris for a captured Mephiles. Say, Eggman's not exactly someone you want to bargain with. Trust me, I know from experience. Sonic runs into Silver again, and also Elise gets kidnapped again! But Shadow steps in, and as you expect, we have to fight Silver once again, and thankfully, this is the final time. It's the same as the first fight, by the way, and before you ask, no, playing as Shadow does not make it any easier. But yeah, Shadow and Silver then use a Chaos Control and travel 10 years into the past. We see the Solaris project go wrong, and the original Mephiles and Iblis break free. The Hedgehogs pursue them, but not before Shadow takes the Scepter of Darkness with him. The level itself isn't really noteworthy, but the battle sections are kinda annoying, let's be honest. But whatever, the good guys steal the bad guys, but not before Elise becomes Iblis's vessel and her dad fucking dies.
Remember, be brave. Don't cry, no matter what happens. Otherwise, your tears will call forth the flames inside you.
I find it hard to believe this 7-year-old girl went through puberty without shedding a tear. Especially since, I don't know, her dad is dead.
It's a lucky charm.
So you're telling me there were 8 Chaos Emeralds this whole time? Like, seriously, if Elise had it for 10 years, then how is Sonic able to use the Chaos Emeralds against enemies like Perfect Chaos or the Bio Lizard? But Nathan, there's an unspecified time gap in between Sonic games. Well, Sonic has been canonically 15 since 1991, so unless Anthro animals age much slower than the humans, it just wouldn't make sense that Elise would have one of the Chaos Emeralds while Sonic and crew were fighting the Metal Overlord. I mean, I guess according to Sonic the Fighters, there really were 8 Chaos Emeralds. But yeah, Shadow and Rouge make a new Scepter of Darkness, quite easily mind you. And then we get this.
Agent Shadow, E123 Omega has engaged Mephiles. Head to the Wave Ocean, head to Wave Ocean. Agent Shadow, E123 Omega has engaged Mephiles. Head to Wave Ocean immediately.
What? Did they seriously leave an outtake in the game? Anyway, it's then revealed that it was Omega who seals Shadow in the future. Meanwhile, Elise tries to commit suicide, but like All Might from My Hero Academia, he is here! And moments later, after seeing this guy's funny face, Eggman comes to make an announcement and threatens Elise to come back or else he destroys Soliana. Okay, I counted, and this instance makes this the 5th time she's been kidnapped in this game. I swear, she is even worse than Peach. But yeah, Sonic and Silver cross paths again, but this time they form an alliance to stop Eggman. Which, by the way, his motivation is not to piss on the moon, but instead to basically rule over time. But yeah, looks like the Hedgehogs are too late as Eggman and Elise fucking die. But luckily, saving a princess and the world is full of trial and error thanks to time travel. But instead of following Sonic, Silver and Blaze go back to the future to stop Iblis once and for all. And luckily, Sonic shows up to save the day, and we get one of the best bosses in the entire game. After that, Sonic and Elise escape the airship just in time before it crashes. Also, why didn't Elise die from that explosion? I mean, look, Sonic surviving, I get, but Elise is only a human. But it doesn't matter. Team Dark heads to the ruins in pursuit of Mephiles, who gets another boss fight. This time it's full of charging up for a Kaioken, Chaos Boost, and again, beating the shit out of him. Nothing noteworthy, but whatever. Shadow tries to seal Mephiles with the Scepter of Darkness, but fails miserably, thanks to the fact Mephiles absorbed Shadow's power in the past. Mephiles then uses a Shadow Clone Jutsu, and then we get this.
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
That right there has to be the ultimate Shadow quote. Meanwhile, Back to the Future. Okay, that's the last time I'm gonna say that, I promise. But yeah, we fight Iblis for the last time, and to be honest, this boss gives me the same vibes as Giant Baby Bowser in Yoshi's Island. After that, Silver tries to seal Iblis in himself, but fails miserably because he doesn't have royal blood. So Blaze gives it a go and fucking dies. But look at this, the future is goated again. And as King of a Thing once said, it is the end of Iblis Gillian. Sorry I stole your joke, it's just too funny to pass up. So all 3 protagonists have their endings. So what now? Well, we forgot about Memphis, Tennessee. Damn, happy 15th birthday, Sonic. What? You're telling me Elise cried for an Anthro Hedgehog she only knew for a day but not her own father? This scene right here is what makes Mephiles stand out compared to other Sonic villains. He killed Sonic the Hedgehog, he awakened the Flames of Disaster, he fused with it and transcended into a being capable of destroying the past, present, and future all at once. Unlike most Sonic villains, Mephiles won. But anyway, all hope seems to be lost. For some reason, the only survivors present are the playable characters as well as Eggman. Eggman's only really here to explain Mephiles' motivation and what Solaris is capable of.
If you say it exists in the past, present, and future, I'll destroy them all at once!
Okay, I'm no expert, but that's definitely not how time works. There's always more past and more future. So you're basically stuck time traveling for eternity, just saying. But yeah, I guess it would have worked if Sonic was still alive, so I guess the good guys are screwed.
I feel Sonic's presence in the wind. I don't think he's dead yet.
Elise, he has a 5-inch hole in his chest. He's dead. I know we can't see the hole, nor any blood because the game's rated E, but I promise you, it's there. You know, since the Chaos Emeralds could grant the user's thoughts into power, they are probably more than capable of bringing someone back from the dead. So there was no need to say Sonic's not dead yet. But whatever. Everyone goes through their own levels to collect the Chaos Emeralds, which is very tedious, because if you get a game over, you have to start the final story all over again. But other than that, I guess it's solid for the most part. And now, we have finally gathered the 7 Dragon Balls, Chaos Emeralds.
And I wish to talk to Sonic once again.
Really? Only once again? Okay, here's a simulated scenario from what you've just said. Sonic comes back to life, right? Elise is like, hey Sonic, you're alive! And Sonic's like, oh hell yeah, that's fucking based! And dies again. You have to be more specific with your wishes, Elise. But, moving on. That right there is necrophilia and bestiality. And I don't even know which one's worse. But Nathan, Sonic's an anthro. Well, he still ain't human. Also, why isn't Amy losing her shit right now? Remember when Naruto and Sasuke accidentally kissed each other for the first time? And how Sakura and the other girls wanted Naruto dead? Well, that is exactly how Amy would react. Besides, I don't even think the kiss was necessary. From the looks of it, the Chaos Emeralds were just gonna revive Sonic on their own. Seriously, the Chaos Emeralds were already established to be capable of granting the user's thoughts into power. So yeah, no kiss needed. Hell, no dialogue or any physical contact whatsoever was needed. But luckily, we get one of the most badass moments in the entire game as the trio transforms to fight Solaris. And this right here is an epic final boss. I swear, this is like Zero 2 from Kirby 64, but better. Anyway, the first phase is pretty straightforward. Destroy his armor, which would then expose the core. And trust me, it only gets better in phase 2. And now Solaris looks like the goddess crest in Skyward Sword. For a few seconds, it consists of the characters telling you information you already know, but trust me, this isn't like the Time Eater fight, where you have to hear them say, "It looks like a homing shot, Sonic," over and over again. But yeah, it's pretty much the same thing minus the armor, and the fact that the fight gets more intense. And no, it's not just thanks to the epic orchestral cover of His World. I swear, with a game like Sonic 06, this S-tier boss almost feels out of place. But when all's said and done, it turns out the Solaris we fought was a faker.
I found you, faker.
The true Solaris is actually a tiny white flame. If the flame gets put out, Solaris would cease to exist. There would be no Mephiles or Iblis. In fact, the events of Sonic 06 would never happen in the first place.
I don't care what happens to the world.
Really? You'd pick an Anthro Hedgehog you only knew for a day over the world? But Elise goes through with the plan and blows out Solaris, and the screen fades to black. Congratulations, haters, Sonic 06 canonically never happened. We can all go home now. But yeah, we get a scene which is basically a one-for-one repeat of the opening cutscene. But since there's no Solaris, I think it's safe to assume they're celebrating something that isn't the Festival of the Sun, and Elise's father died from old age. But wait, why does Sonic seem to remember Elise though? I mean, the whole thing with blowing out Solaris' flame was that Sonic and Elise never met. So why do both of them seem to have recollection of each other? Oh, and I have another question. What about Silver? What does his future look like? I mean, I guess it still looks like shit because Eggman took over the world in forces. But I'm getting off topic. And just like that, the game is over. So let us get into the next section of today's video. I won't deny there's a lot wrong with this game. Hell, I'm willing to say the flaws outweigh the positives for the most part. But the positives are in fact present. I mean, to this day, I still believe Mephiles is the best Sonic villain of all time, and I don't think that title will be leaving him anytime soon. The game has a great soundtrack, but then again, this is a Sonic game we're talking about, so that's kind of a given. And of course, we have a goated final boss. But again, it has a lot wrong with it. The long-ass loading screens, a convoluted story, broken gameplay, and the fact the development was rushed and unfinished. You can really only defend so much in 06. But to be honest, I don't really think this game fucked up the franchise. I mean, we still got some solid games like Unleashed and Generations. If anything, I would rather revisit this game than Colors, cause come on! The levels are too short and the bosses are too easy, and not to mention the dialogue and writing is just immature. Sonic 06 on the other hand, has none of that. The levels are pretty lengthy, the bosses are fine in terms of difficulty except for Silver, and the writing, as flawed as it was, still managed to take itself seriously. But like Sonic Forces, we get a half-baked game with a truckload of wasted potential. And not to mention the team was split as a good portion of them worked on Secret Rings. My thoughts on that game? I don't know. I haven't gotten around to playing it yet, but when I do, you'll probably hear it in another video. But yeah, let us get to the final verdict. Sonic 06 really had the potential to be one of, if not the best Sonic game of all time. If the team wasn't separated to work on this and the Secret Rings, and if they held off the release for even just a year or two, we could have gotten ourselves an S-tier Sonic game. Before you ask, yes, I am aware of the fan-made game known as Project 06. I have yet to play it, but apparently it is referred to as the best Sonic game ever, so I'll have to get to it when I get the chance. But anyway, Even though I said what I meant and I meant what I said, in a weird way, I still enjoyed playing through this game. So yeah, I think this game was worth the $12 I spent. But, because of its flaws, to plug it all in, I rate Sonic 06 a 5 out of 10. It's not the worst game I played. I mean, I have more fond memories of this than when I played Devil May Cry 2, so that's gotta count for something, right? But yeah, if there are any other games you'd be interested in seeing me review, whether it be good or bad, let me know in the comments below. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya, chump!